Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is a gorgeous day in New York City, and it's time for baseball as Kia presents the Wednesday game of the week. It's the New York Yankees against the Cleveland Indians in the final game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankee offense has been sputtering, and they were waiting for their injured players to get back. One of the people they were waiting on, Mark Teixeira. And boy, that wait's paid off.
Yeah, it sure has, Michael. He had the right wrist injury that's cost him some time out of spring training from the WBC. Here's a fastball off the ace of the Indians pitching staff, Justin Masterson, just getting over the wall. Grand slam. That was the difference in this first ball game of this series, 7-4 win. And then a changeup, not just from the left side, but the right side. Last night, 3-run homer off of Scott Kazmir. Middle of the order. Mark Teixeira has done the job so far.
The 3 games against the Red Sox, they struggled. They scored just 5 runs. In 2 games against the Indians, they've scored 11. So they've out-hit the 3 games that they had against the Red Sox, and they've out-homered those 3 games as well. Most importantly, the pitching, a 3.50 ERA. Speaking of pitching, let's look at today's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Corey Kluber will go for the Indians, 3-3, 4.36. And CC Sabathia for the Yankees, 5-4, 3.71. And John, last time out against the Red Sox, Sabathia was really dealing.
Well, he was excellent, but I think you have to go back 2 starts ago against Tampa Bay. 7 earned runs in 7 innings. Sabathia showed some frustration in that game. The end result was he came out against the Red Sox on Friday night. He had a better fastball. He had a better slider. Velocity was good. Location was there. But I think more importantly, his mindset said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to get back to being the dominant ace. 10 strikeouts in this ball game. You wonder if Sabathia now is going to get on one of those runs where he can carry a ball club.
Well, speaking of runs, John, that man's been on a run. Mariano Rivera has been unbelievable in his final season. Another save last night. We'll break it down when we get back right here on Yes. Mariano Rivera nailed down the save, a 1-2-3 ninth inning. Look what he's done this year in 24 games, 1.61, 21 out of 22 save opportunities, and the other numbers, they're outstanding. At the age of 43, he leads the American League in saves. Well, that's Al Leiter. I'm Michael K. John Flaherty will rejoin us in just a moment. He's 4 years younger than you. Could you have done this at 43?
No, I couldn't do it at 40 when I tried it my last year playing. It's amazing, Michael, when you say 43 years old. But I really think this. Everybody talks about, he's got a cutter. He only throws 1 pitch. No, he does not. Yes, it cuts, but he'll throw the ball away. He's got impeccable command. We just showed the numbers. 2 walks. Are you kidding? In and out. He still elevates. It's not 95 anymore, but at 91, look at this ball shoot. you talk about what he's able to do, and it's about command, and it's also about both sides of the plate. This guy is such a pitcher. 1,075 games, very impressive. Mariano's still doing it and doing it well.
This is his last season, so he intends to go out on top. CC Sabathia was very good last time out. When we come back, lineups, first pitch baseball, next on Yes. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away for practically just your signature. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO, and by Acura Advance. Pulling into the Bronx to see the Yankees against the Indians, a Wednesday matinee before the Yankees hit the road. And it is a beautiful day here in New York City. Why don't we check out the lineup that's going to face CC Sabathia. Indians have lost 3 in a row and 10 of 14. And they'll lead off their center fielder, Michael Bourne. Batting second and playing second, Jason Kipnis. Nick Swisher, the DH, will hit third. Cleaning up third baseman, Mark Reynolds. Carlos Santana at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, Mike Aviles. Michael Brantley in left field will bat seventh. The number 8 hitter is the catcher, Yan Gomes. And Drew Stubbs in right field will bat ninth.
Beautiful day. CC Sabathia. Day game, Yankee Stadium. 32-year-old left-hander from Vallejo, California. He was the first-round draft pick, 20th pick overall, back in 1998 by this Cleveland Indian organization. See his numbers coming off a very good start. Let's take a look at the pitcher scouting report brought to you by Tri-Honda Dealers. Heating up, you betcha. The weather's heating up, and also his velocity's inching up. His last start against the Boston Red Sox, 92.5 miles per hour was the average velocity. His first start of the year was 89.9. We'll talk about that. Tighten up his slider. His slider was much better. That separation of fastball slider speed, he had a good one. In days of our lives, since joining the Yankees in 2009, he is 25-11 in daytimes. That's 49 daytime starts during that period of time. Third in baseball behind Roy Halladay and Adam Wainwright.
All right, so the Yankees trying to sweep the Indians and finish what has been less than a great homestand for them. Michael Bourne digs in. He's ready. CeCe's ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is up and in, and we are underway. Larry Vanover's the home plate umpire. Yankees have handled the Indians well this year, taking 5 of 6 games. This is the final time they'll play in the regular season. 4 in Cleveland and 3 here in New York. Oh, 3-0 to Bourne.
Indians making it interesting last night after a 4 spot the Yankees put in the bottom of the third. They came back at the top of the 7th Big home run of Drew Stubbs off the job of Chamberlain. Eventual Yankee 4-3 win.
And there's a strike.
This Indian team is interesting, John. They made some nice moves. Michael Bourne being right in front and center, late sign. Their starting pitching, surprisingly, has been good. Their bullpen, which was supposed to be a strength, with Chris Perez now on the DL, hasn't been as good. A lot of strikeouts in this lineup. Mark Reynolds comes to the forefront along with Drew Stubbs. I think this team's going to compete with the Tigers. Not as good as Tigers talent-wise, but they've shown a lot. Terry Francona's been a nice addition as well.
Tap slowly to second. Cano is there, and there's one away. Why don't we take a look at the defense behind Sabathia? In the outfield, you've got Vernon Wells in left, Gardner in center, and that regular right fielder 3 days in a row for Lyle Overbay after never having played in the outfield in his major league career. Infield, Youkilis, Nix, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. Stewart behind the plate, and Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound.
Well, Al, you talked about Sabathia's last outing against Boston was dominant. 10 strikeouts, did not walk anybody. And you wonder if he's going to get on one of those rolls that we've seen in his Yankee career. He loves the month of June. 18-4 the month of June. And after what he did against the Boston Red Sox, so much to like in that start. Could carry a club for a couple of months.
Well, for as much as, to not talk about velocity, it matters. You know this. Guys get away with mistakes. The whole purpose of a good pitcher is trying to hit corners, keep the ball down, exploit a hitter's weakness. When CC's velocity wasn't where it was in the past, you don't get away with as many mistakes. Beautiful slider right there.
Not a mistake.
Michael, I think that little tick extra, and I mentioned in the scout report, his last start he was up to over 92 miles an hour average velocity. His first start against the Red Sox, here's that slider down the way. Jason Kipnis is also part of that strikeout crew of the Indians. Couldn't lay off. The separation is hard. You got to respect a little bit more. You see him 92, 93. He had some 94s in that Red Sox start, as opposed to an 88, 89, more of the hitting speed.
Here's Nick Swisher. He's the DH today. Hitless in his last 13 at-bats. Ground ball up the middle. Nix fields and gets Swisher, and a 1-2-3 inning for CC Sabathia. Indians nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. By Lexus. The Yankees come in at 33 and 25, and they lead off their center fielder Brett Gardner. Batting second and playing second, Robinson Cano. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up the DH, Travis Hafner. Vernon Wells in left field will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Lyle Overbay. Kevin Youkilis at third base will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Jason Nix. And Chris Stewart will catch, and he will bat ninth.
Well, a 27-year-old right-hander, Corey Kluber. He was a fourth-round draft pick by the San Diego Padres in 2007. He was later traded in the Jake Westbrook trade. There you see his numbers. His last few starts have been much better. They like his arm. Another guy in that low to mid-90s velocity. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report. Brought to you by Tri-Honda Dealers. He is a fastball, slider, change-up pitcher, but he also likes his cutter. And at times he gets a little cutter happy. I was talking to Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach. Watch for that today. Pounds his zone. I mean, 43 1/3 innings, 8 walks. This is a guy who got a base on ball per 9, 1.66. He's going to throw strikes. And I mentioned about his 3 last quality. Then he had rain. Tampa Bay game in Cleveland. He went 2 innings, no hits. Nice pitcher. He's going to use all of his pitches, but at times he's going to have a little extra velocity.
Well, you say nice pitcher, and that's what I thought researching the numbers. You talked to Terry Francona. He was raving about this guy, saying he's coming into his own, has a big-time arm. He's really going to help us the second half.
You know, talking again to Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, and I said, you know, what do you like about him? And same thing as Terry Francona. He goes, like him? I love him. I said, well, you know, nothing against the statistics, but sometimes are they lying here? I know his ERA is coming down to 4.36. He said, just watch him. He's a guy that, like most pitchers, would make careless mistakes in the middle of the plate. But for the most part, they like him, and he settles in right now as a kind of their 4-5 starter. Mm-hmm. At times pitches like a 3.
Here's Gardner, and there's a strike. Do you think you annoyed Callaway the way he said, just watch him, and then did he walk away at that point?
Look, you know what? You look at guys, and obviously we're not watching the Indians closely. I'm not. And you look at the statistics. I mean, his ERA continually has gone down during the year. It was a nice conversation. I don't think he was annoyed.
All right. Because you have a lot of energy in day games. That one is driven to left field. Slices foul. Did you like day games better than night games?
I think I like day games, but I remember somebody pulling up a stat showing that it was the opposite. I liked pitching in the daytime.
How about you, John?
I hated the day until I had kids. And then your routine changed, and you get up early with the kids, so the day games became a little bit better. So you drink coffee out?
I do.
A lot?
I used to drink a lot.
Ooh, what'd you have this morning?
I had my triple latte at Starbucks, and I just had another cup.
That second segment you did?
Doing 100 miles an hour?
Mariano, that was amazing. That was the latte coming out, right?
Fast or loud? Which one?
A little bit of both.
Oh my. I'll slow it down. Daytime, Bronx, Yankee Stadium. How great is this?
Beautiful day.
Beautiful
Great day.
Talking a little baseball.
Now, Paul O'Neill used to say that he liked playing at night because he thought you could see the ball much better. You agree with that, John?
I do. I just think you're used to playing more night games, so your eyes become accustomed to the lights and picking up the baseball and spin. And you come out here on a bright day, obviously it's a little bit different. You adjust. When I was a younger player, those day games were a little rough.
Especially in Chicago.
It was the hotels on the road, Al. You just didn't get a good night's sleep. You didn't feel quite like yourself the next morning, right?
Right.
Especially in Chicago.
That's what it was. The hotels.
(1-1) to Cano. Driven into center field and dropped by Bourne. Cano hustling into second, will get there. Let's see if he's okay. Gets up slowly, but gets up. Looks like he's all right. Bourne got there and just didn't see the ball into his glove.
Well, it's surprising. Bourne has won a couple of gold gloves in center field, and this off the end of the bat, but still had plenty of carry. Robinson Cano thinking this is going to be a routine out, and it should have been right off of his glove. Robbie Cano has to kick it into another gear to get himself into second base, but it should be scored easily. An error, a play that Bourne would make in his sleep.
Let's take a look at the Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer, and even in Yesmo he dropped it. Now Joe Girardi makes his way out to second base to see if Cano is all right.
Well, right there he thinks, all right, it's an out, and now I got to kick it in. Awkward slide.
Busting out of the box. He wouldn't have to slide.
Now there's a lot that's been said for a while now about Cano not running hard all the time out of the box. So it's interesting that it was brought up to Brian Cashman, the Yankee GM, and he said, I have no problem with the way Robbie runs. He goes, if I did, I would talk to him. He goes, I think he hustles as much as anybody on this team. And I think he breaks it down here because he thought it was an out.
It should have been an out. I mean, this is one of those, he comes out of the box hard, then he kind of cruises a little bit, expecting it to be caught, which it should have been. And then gets his way into second base with an awkward slide.
So that is scored in E8.
You know, also too, Michael, I think the way, just watching Robinson Cano over these many years, like he's so talented that he's got a look where he does look casual at times. He's got a great stride, covers a lot of ground at second base. It's a little flick throw you see. Sometimes it looks casual.
But, in fairness, he does not run out every ground ball hard. Jeter runs out every ground ball hard. So I can understand people saying it. I mean, you don't keep repeating it every time he does it, but Brian Cashman said, I have no problem with it. Joe Girardi has no problem with it. So, obviously, they're the ones that count. Fly ball to center field. Michael Bourne makes this play to retire Teixeira. Well, we got the stats on you, Al. We broke it down. At nighttime, you were 112 and 81 with a 3.72. And in the day, you were 50 and 51.
Under 500.
3.95. So you gave away 0.20 more runs per game, and you were under 500. And this is the time of the day you liked.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think I was kicking the coffee as much back then.
Red Bull?
No, I didn't do Red Bull either.
Did they even invent it back when you started?
No, I don't think so.
Wow, that's a shot.
Now I got it, John. I liked watching the games during daytime. You had dinner. It was like normal hours.
You were 31 games over 500 at night. You owned the night. You were like a little vampire.
I'm lucky once in a while.
The 1-0. Now, one of the best games you ever pitched was that one-game playoff in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, that was a late one, too, right?
That
Cincinnati was a ESPN jobber at 8 o'clock.
One of the best games ever pitched by a Met pitcher in a big situation.
That was a pretty good one. The handful that I could remember, which one of them?
I love when you do the humble stuff. It's so illegitimate. The 1-1. 2-1.
Watching Kluber and his fastball, it's got a little sink to it, and everybody was around the Cleveland Indians was saying he's gotten rid of the cutter, not throwing it as much. That'd be a major adjustment, Al. I mean, you threw your cutter all the time. To kind of change your grip and go back to a little two-seamer?
Yeah, what happens, John, is when you fall in love with a cutter, you kind of lose that extension on your velocity and be able to just reach out and get better pop.
Hafner hits one deep to right field. There it goes! See ya! Deep into the second deck. Hafner goes yard, and the Yankees lead 2-0.
That error by Michael Bourne extends the inning, and Travis Hafner takes advantage. And we're talking about Kluber and his cutter, his sinker, whatever it is. He's attacking here in the first inning with his fastball, and Travis Hafner takes advantage. Leaks right back over the middle of the plate. And Hafner, who has been struggling a little bit lately, hit his 9th home run the other day and follows it up with his 10th here. A bomb to right field.
And here's a positive stat. The Yankees 23-3 when they score first. And this is how they scored first.
So 4 sinkers, middle of the plate.
Vernon Wells chops one to short. Aviles gets Wells, and that'll do it. The Yankees get 2 unearned runs, but they count on the board. Travis Hafner hits one deep into the second deck. After 1 at the stadium, it's 2-0 Yanks.
I love this game, and I want what's best for this game. And I think baseball's trying to do that as well. Unfortunately, there's some things that you go through in all sports that sometimes is not what's best for the sport. But you're going to get through it because, as I said, it's bigger than 100 players. It's bigger than 1,000 players. This game has a long history, and it's a great game, and it will continue to be a great game.
That was before the game today. Joe Girardi talking about the story that was developed yesterday by ESPN outside the lines that Major League Baseball is considering suspending Alex Rodriguez and Ryan Braun 100 games for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy. There's also 18 other people on the list, and then when you talk to others in baseball, they say there are even more than that. And the story is that the Biogenesis Clinic down in Florida, the owner of that clinic, who ran the clinic, Anthony Bosch, it looks as if he is willing to cooperate with Major League Baseball and tell them what he knows. And if that in fact happens, and nothing has been done yet, nothing's been signed or agreed upon, but it looks as if that's going to happen. If he does talk to them, then Major League Baseball might move then to suspend Alex Rodriguez 100 games and the Milwaukee Brewers' Ryan Braun 100 games, as well as other players. So it is a potentially explosive story, and there's not much to report until Major League Baseball actually reacts. And where it leads, well, we can try to read the tea leaves, but we don't know where it's going to lead because Major League Baseball is not reacting to it at this point. They're not commenting on it because none of this stuff is sure. It was some heavy-duty reporting by ESPN, and as I said, potentially explosive. Joe was asked about it 100 ways to Tuesday, and he keeps saying, it's really not in my hands. I don't know anything about it. It's Major League Baseball. So that's where it stands right now, but it's a story that might be the biggest sports story of the year. It certainly transcends baseball. It was on the front page of newspapers today. It's big, but we'll see where it leads.
Well, when you listen to Joe Girardi address the media last night after the game and then today before the game, you can tell, I guess he's annoyed or uncomfortable because it's a distraction, and we don't really know how it's all going to play out. And the one thing about this Yankee team, with all the injuries that they've had, it's been a pretty good story without distractions in that clubhouse and around this team. And now all of a sudden Joe Girardi has to put out another fire that he doesn't even know where this is all going to end up.
Yeah, I just, look, we've been talking about this since they implemented a test back in 2002 as to how stringent it should be. And I do know, having played through the heart of the bulk of the steroid era, quote unquote, players are fed up. Everybody's fed up. And I think it's a time where, everybody wants to figure out a way to where guys won't even remotely experiment. And as you said, Michael, it's all speculative. I don't know how they could prove it. There's an agreement in place from the Players Association, Major League Baseball. None of these guys, I don't think, tested positive, part of the urinalysis program that's in place. It'd be interesting, but I think it's more of a fed-up kind of mindset for everybody.
There's a ground ball at Cano. 2 away. Now, in terms of how it affects the New York Yankees, that's what fans want to know, too. Well, what happens if A-Rod doesn't come back? Well, let's be honest. I think the Yankees have been operating this year because he's coming back from serious hip surgery as if he wasn't going to be here anyway. The big money they spent during free agency was to get a third baseman, and that's Kevin Youkilis. So they played without the left side of their infield so far, and I think they've operated under the assumption if we get Alex back, it's a bonus, but they're prepared if they don't get him back. So that's what we know right now, and again, it's in the hands of Major League Baseball. 2 away here in the second, and here's Mike Aviles. And there's a strike. Check swing, and the first base umpire, Brian Gorman, said he did not go. Mike Aviles got thrown out yesterday after the game was over. He was arguing with the home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo, who said he foul-tipped the first ball that Mariano threw. He said he didn't even come close to it. And this time he grounds to short. Nix is there, and Cecil has retired the first 6 Indians. We go to the bottom of the second. Yankees 2, the Indians nothing. Conversation brought to you by Toyota. Prius is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Here's how we started the conversation. How excited are you knowing the Yankees have 3 first-round picks in the upcoming Major League Draft tomorrow? And one of the responses from Pandemono NYA. I'm excited. Historically, they have spent money to acquire talent. Now the business plan stresses the scouting of youth. I guess it's Pandemonium with an NYY in the middle. Yeah, it's good to have 3 first-round picks if you select the right players. They have 26, 32, and 33.
Well, it's such an exciting time, I mean, for college players, high school players, and actually a player from my old high school, Rob Kaminsky, St. Joe's in Montvale. Supposed to be a first-round pick, left-handed pitcher, and you know the Yankees have taken a look at him to see how it all plays out. Good luck to everybody with the draft tomorrow.
Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Overbay swings and misses as we start at the bottom of the second.
You know, with more of these draft picks getting to the big leagues quicker, which it's happening. I mean, it used to be, you were drafted, I don't care, unless you're a real special guy, the Dave Winfields or John Olerud's or Pete Incaviglia, it was at least 3 years.
Paid your dues.
Paid your dues. Now we're getting, a year later, guys are contributing in a big way. So I think the more fans could see that association with, hey, these guys aren't just going to be in the minor leagues somewhere for 3 or 4 years. They can help the big club. It makes the draft more exciting.
Do you like what MLB is doing, with broadcasting the draft and making it more of an event?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's only going to get better. I think they have some ideas and plans in place to make it even more of a TV event. People like that. It's never going to get to the NFL or the NBA where those guys go right from their respective minor leagues. Their minor leagues are Division I college sports.
Chopped slowly to third. Reynolds fields, off-balance throw, and a base hit for Overbay. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. The sky looks great, 71 degrees, 40% humidity, 5 miles per hour. It's sunny and warm. It's so weird because a couple of years ago they would keep first-round draft picks a secret. I mean, it was unbelievable. Now they're going to make a televised event out of it. And I just think that the other sports are going to be bigger because college baseball is not as popular as college football and college basketball. So those guys are known entities. I mean, you could get a 10th pick in the first round and people go, who's that? They don't know. They haven't seen it.
No doubt, no doubt. Also, too, players, they're in the midst of their seasons right now. The draft going on tomorrow. A lot of these college guys are trying to get to Omaha. So you don't get as many, the high-profile picks at the draft.
Now, you were first-round pick, right?
I was a second-round pick.
Second round, but you were picked on the first day of the draft?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. How many rounds did they go first day?
Usually, I think 3.
What round were you?
25th round. I was picked on the 3rd day of the draft out. I was painting my house. I was so ticked off when that phone call came.
25th round. Tampa Bay? Boston, yeah. But,
and these kids, the high school and college kids, are all going to be told, hey, we project you're going to go 3rd to 6th. That's what they projected for me. And went all the way down to the 25th. So it's an exciting time, but also stressful.
Did you do a good job painting the house, though?
No, it wasn't very. There was a lot of Irish anger coming out on the side of that house.
Eugelis goes down on strikes.
Well, here's that good slider from Corey Kluber. A little slider down the way, perfect location. Look where Yan Gomes hits the glove. Let's see here on the plate. Yeah, good pitch.
Now, some members of the Yankee family are interested observers when it comes to the draft. Kevin Long's son, Jaron, a right-handed pitcher from Ohio State, is expected to go in the early rounds, and it'll be interesting to see where Josh Pettit, Andy's son, goes. Josh was 12-1 with a 0.73 ERA in high school this year.
Left-handed?
No, he's right-handed. And he throws 90, and he's 18 years old.
What was the ERA? 12-1?
0.73. Nix hits one the other way. It's a base hit. It'll go into the corner. Overbay goes to third. Stubbs comes up throwing. A double for Nix, and the Yankees have runners on second and third with 1 out.
Well, Jason Nix, the offensive game is starting to pick up a little bit lately. The batting average now creeping around 250. It was in the low 220s. Just shooting it the other way. Did the same thing last night. Bottom of the order, getting some production from Joe Girardi's lineup.
Yeah, I love it, John. Jason Nix. A lot of hitters have to know who they are, and I think certain types of hitters kind of forget what they bring to the table. And there, when you look at Nix or guys that aren't home run guys that can go line to line, hit it where it's pitched, tough to get out.
Indians play the infield back for Chris Stewart at short and second. And he swings and misses at the first pitch. We'll also be keeping an eye on the draft. Lee Mazzilli's son, second baseman who could really, really hit, senior in college, and he's expected to go pretty high.
Well, he was drafted last year and opted to go back to school, so we'll see where he ends up this year, what team selects him.
Lee's really proud because the kid was drafted last year, as John said, and I think they drafted him a little later than they thought they were going to be drafted, and I think he was offered $250,000 and he turned it down because he thought he was worth more than that. And he said when he did that, he couldn't have impressed me more. He said then he went out and had a better senior year. So we'll see where he is picked. Second baseman who can hit. The 1-1.
You mentioned, John, it's exciting. Sorry that you were painting house in the 25th round, but my surprise was I thought it was either going to be the Orioles. I had two brothers in the minor leagues, told by some people that I was going to be taken. Kansas City showed a huge interest, and the Angels. I promise you when I tell you this, I had no idea the interest that the Yankees had at that level of being their second pick. And when the guy came down from my high school field and said, you were just drafted by the Yankees, I was like, the Yankees? Were they even here? I don't remember them watching other than one time Murray Cook, who was the general manager, something happened and they made him the scouting director. And he came to my high school, and I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't know Murray Cook, certainly a high school kid. Who knew Murray Cook? But just the covert ways in which teams, hide their interest in players.
Grounded foul outside of third. Yankees baseball available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP brought to you by Infinity.
Let's talk numbers. We talked about Andy Pettit's son and his ERA senior year in high school. How about yours?
I think they were good.
What? Of course they were good.
No, I 13-0. I had an ERA like .28. Wow. Yeah.
Is that the year you also struck out 32?
I struck out 32 guys in a game. It was crazy. I probably threw like 900 pitches into one game. I'll tell you what, the scouts were mad about that. You talk about how...
Line drive, left field, base hit. Overbase scores. Nick stops at third. It's an RBI single for Stewart, who continues to swing a hot bat. Then it's 3-0 Yanks.
Well, the Yankees have to be ecstatic. I mean, Chris Stewart is known as a defensive player coming into camp, getting more at bats, and now the batting average over 270, which is so much more than respectable, and a fastball inside takes care of it easy. Line drive to left field, overbase scores. Nick's over to third base. You got to give Chris Stewart credit. He's got an opportunity to play more this year, and he's taking advantage of it.
Short, quick stroke. That's what that was. Just a little line drive approach. Love it.
Now, Al, Josh Pettit, in addition to the numbers we gave, 12-1, 0.73, 2 no-hitters, 6 shutouts, and has a scholarship to Baylor. Did you have any no-hitters that year?
4. No, it was crazy. Yeah, I was like faces in the crowd and all that. It was a lot of fun.
How many pitches did you throw when you struck out 32?
I can't imagine. It was 13 innings. The game was tied 0-0. It started to rain. I don't. It's got to be a couple hundred.
Somewhere like the
Especially
baseball
me.
gods decided, we're going to destroy this kid's shoulder before he makes it.
Early on in my career, I know.
Wow.
And then I had a manager in the big leagues, 162 pitches. A couple years later.
Swing and a miss. Who was that manager? I always forget.
Dallas Green.
Michael, though, for all the energy that this guy has, you can see where a manager would just keep running him out there. And a high school coach, he's good. He's not getting tired. He's getting better.
John, you're right. I mean, I used to do that with, later in my career. Guys, how do you feel? And the pitching coach would come down, and I would yell it loud enough for my manager to hear it, and they would let me stay in. It was probably not a smart thing to do because a lot of games, 120, 130 pitches.
Here's the 0-2 to Gardner. It is a good point that the more you went out there to pitch, the less you were in the dugout to annoy your teammates.
Jim Leyland was my favorite. He'd come in, you know, before a game, pitchers are kind of like stay away, depending upon who they were. I wasn't completely whacked, but kind of. And he'd come in with 3 packs of cigarettes in his hand. He goes, 2-packer or 3-packer? And he turned to his coach and he's like, tell me when it's 3-2. I'll start watching.
The 1-2. That one's driven deep to right field. There it goes. See ya! A 3-run home run for Brett Gardner. And the Yankees are all over the Indians. It is 6-0.
How about Brett Gardner? 6th home run on the year. That's right, 6. Leadoff hitter with speed. Got a slider. Down and in. Kluber, it looked like he wanted to go away. The sweet spot for just about every left-handed swing. Opening this game up with a 4 spot here in the 2nd inning.
How about the Yankees offensively? Went through that stretch against the Mets, the Red Sox struggling to score runs. Mark Teixeira hits a couple of home runs. Everybody relaxing. 6-0 here in the 2nd.
How true is that? When you think about the length of a lineup for guys that don't feel that I got to get it done. We were talking about last night about the batting average being evil. And you look at it, how you get yourself out of it.
Now over 3 games here, well, 2 innings here. Numbers have gotten so much better. Versus the Indians, 7.2 runs, a batting average of 300. But I think to your point, Al, everybody now says, okay, Mark Teixeira got a couple of big hits. We can all settle down. We don't have to get it done. I don't have to get it done myself. And production from the top and the bottom of the lineup.
Let's take a look at the Gardner home run in the popular Yes View.
I like this view right here, Michael. Look at out front, foot down. That little slider going down and in. Brett Gardner, 6 home runs already on this season. He career high of 7 home runs when he had 510 at bats in 2011.
I remember Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, a few years ago telling me this kid's got double-digit home run power, and I'm like, you're crazy. He slaps the ball all over the place. And Kevin looks pretty like a wise man right now, starting the month of June, 6 home runs already.
But Brett Gardner knows the type of hitter he is and what he brings to the table. When you see guys, you can see what Jason Kipnis, while he could hit 15 or 20, that's not who they are. The idea from line to line drive hitter, that's where a guy like Brett Gardner could get in trouble when he starts thinking that he could back leg.
There's a strike. Boy, they have really hit the Indians. They've had trouble scoring runs all year, but not against the Indians. And all of those home runs were only in 7 games. Today's the 7th and final game they'll play the Indians.
Well, while the starting rotation of the Indians has improved, there's no doubt about it. Justin Masterson has been very good, not only for the Indians, but across baseball. He did have a rough one in the first game here, and got into the 7th inning, gave up 7 runs.
And Cano works a walk. This year, the Yankees have outscored the Indians 49-15. Here's Mark Teixeira.
But when you get in moments like that, Michael, here, you see the relaxed state of hitters, and when you can get the borderline blowouts or a comfortable lead, guys are just better mentally. It's not, I got to get it done. We need this hit. Boy, we got to win this one. It's just, there's a relaxed feeling. Teixeira really started off with this series with the grand slam against Masterson in the 3rd inning of the first game. And then yesterday, again, some breathing room. Man, it helps the pitching staff. It's just such a domino effect of other fellow hitters in the lineup. When you got a comfortable lead, your starting pitcher doesn't feel like the 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 count. You got to make that perfect pitch.
And when you get run support, it does relax the pitchers, as this would attest to. The Yankees are 18-0 this year when they score 5 or more runs. Grounded to the shortstop. Goes to the third baseman one. On to first. Double play. So that's 6 by 3 on the double play. And Teixeira gets victimized by the shift. No shift for that as Gardner goes yard. 3-run blast. 6-0 Yanks. In the 6th inning for a peek at the new movie The Internship, in theaters Friday. Now our producer Bill Baldwin just jumps me. I say internship. I say internship. And he says it's internship. He says it's internship. I say it's internship.
And you also say huge.
I've changed that this year. Huge. Jody taught me how to say that because I used to say use like it was just with a U.
Right.
I've changed that.
Internship.
Internship.
Internship. See what happens here with Chris Stewart. A little foul tip off of Michael Brantley to get him in the foot. Oh, in the head. Gosh, you'd think not too long ago, I guess it is a while ago, where catchers used to just wear caps, their hat. Beautiful slider, locked him up. Fun to watch how CC pitches with a big lead. Saw last night David Phelps got in a little bit of trouble, got out with some key double play, slider right down the middle. Brantley could not pull the trigger. Watch here on the Mercedes-Benz Yesmo. At his front hip, can't pull the trigger, middle of the plate. That's what happens. You know, CC with that little added extra giddy up. Guys have to gear, start a little sooner. That's the pitch right there. I love the backdoor curveball, takes a little off. It's a give-up pitch to the right-hand hitter because he can't hit it. It's either going to be a ball away, span the plate by about 24 inches.
Oh. Six nothing Yankees. The 1-1. Fly ball right field. Here's a test for Overbay, but it makes the seat, so no test at all. Overbay's caught a couple out there in the 3 starts he's had, but really has not been tested to the point where you said, well, that's a tough play. And if the Yankees can keep getting away with it, they'll keep running him out there because he's hitting. And they like his bat.
And you know what? He's shown with a big smile. He's relaxed. He's comfortable. I think he's looked fine. I mean, he's not going to cover the ground of a speedster. He's going to be able to catch a fly ball to him. And you're right. He hasn't embarrassed himself yet. You know, more than anything else with Lyle Overbay playing the outfield, when he said, I'll do whatever, I want to stay here. I've played a nice big league career. I'd like to win with the Yankees. Wearing the pinstripes matter to me. If I got to sit the bench and be a pinch hitter, I'll do whatever.
Strike 3. Gomes down looking, and he does not like that call.
Well, let's take a look at it. We'll get a second shot, slow motion. Yan Gomes has a gripe there. That ball cut around the corner.
Well, it got the line of the opposite batter's box.
I mean, that's
wow,
3 inches.
Now, how does Vanover explain that when the computer readout comes out?
His percentage will go down. You know, the higher percentage, these guys get all-star opportunities, postseason, World Series. I'm seeing more. I don't know what you think, but I'm seeing way more liberal strike zone for pitchers this year. Really, it seems like there's more of that going on than the opposite, where it's right down the middle and they call it a ball.
Count 0-2.
Hitters will complain that they could cover up and down, but the ball that's 3 or 4 inches away, that you can't cover both sides. Make the plate 24, 25 inches wide.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Sabathia strikes out the side. Perfect through 3 innings of play. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's all Yankees, 6-0, and Sabathia is dealing against his former team. Watch live Yes Network Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Verizon Fios. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $29.99. If you're a Verizon Fios TV customer with Fios Internet, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. So Sabathia is dealing through 3. Corey Kluber is not. The Yankees have clubbed 2 home runs off of him, good for 5 runs, and then Chris Stewart with an RBI single the other run. 6-0 Yankees. Here's Hafner. He has one of the home runs, a 2-run shot in the first. The Lincoln scoreboard 6-5-0, and for the Indians 0-0-1. Hafner, Wells, and Overbay. Shift is on. 0-1.
Well, he went right after him. His previous at bat, he saw 4 fastballs. Kluber missed. His power and strength of Travis Hafner, a guy who's once upon a time in 08, 06 hit 42 home runs.
There's a strike. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3. Hafner down looking.
So far, Larry Van Over, the home plate umpire, has got a pretty liberal zone. When you look at both teams and they're starting to look back to the home plate umpire, you have to start wondering, that ball cut at the very end. That's that cutter. Kluber didn't throw as much. Let's see if it's, well, it's a little above the belt. To me, that's a strike. I don't know whether he thought it was away or high.
Here's Vernon Wells. Yankees waiting for Wells to snap out of his slump. He grounded to short in the first inning. He's 3 for his last 42.
That right there, Michael, caught in between. You know, you watch Vernon Wells in the early part of the year, and he was turning on good plus fastballs. And now they start doubting whether they can hit the 93 or better. You start a little too soon, and you can't hold off on a pitch like that. That slider down the way. You only have about 0.4 seconds, 0.4 of a second of a fastball at 90 miles an hour.
Fly ball, right field. Stubbs makes the play for the second out.
Again, you know, just looking at Vernon, great guy. I mean, you talk about what Brian Cashman brought in, character guys, not only guys that have played a nice big league career, but excited to be here. Grew up a Yankee fan. His father was a Yankee fan. You know, it just starts snowballing. What goes on in between years, and you start trying too many things. You start doubting.
Overbay had a single, slow roller to third in the second. And a strike. Lyles hitting .254. What a pleasant addition on a 3-day tryout in spring training. Red Sox let him go because they decided to stay with Mike Carp. Carp's done a good job for them, but the Yankees needed a first baseman with the injury to Teixeira, and Overbay came available at the right time as he goes down swinging, and that's the best inning for Kluber so far. Yankees go down in order 1-2-3, and we're going to the 4th here at the stadium. Yankees 6 and the Indians nothing. 866-NY-QUIT for free help today. Here's the question. Teixeira and Cano have started 545 games together at first and second base. Which two pairs of current teammates have started more? We'll find that out in the bottom of the fourth. Back to the top of the order. Michael Bourne leads off. CC went 3-0 on Bourne to open up the game. Came back, got him, and no Indian has reached base so far. Just want to tell everybody, if you're wondering, John Flaherty had to leave to attend to a personal matter. So that's why you're not hearing John right now. So Al and I will go the rest of the way.
Let's take a look at the Jeep Hitters Scouting Report. Late edition, Michael Bourne, a lot of talk about him signing early somewhere. He ended up signing February 15th, a 4-year deal for $48 million. Nice pickup by the Indians. Pick up the pace. This guy can run. 3 years in a row, he led the National League in stolen bases. A high of 61 stolen bases between the Astros and the Braves in 2011. Left on left, he stays in there. He's got .333 batting average against lefties. And when he's on base, and I told you about the stolen bases, the 61 high, 4 for 4 against a left-handed pitcher. A lot of people think, you know, hey, he's lefty, pitcher's looking right at you. This guy is a legitimate leadoff hitter and an excellent base stealer. This was a nice sign by the Indians.
They say he did not go, so the count is full at 3-2. Swing and a miss, got him. 4 strikeouts in a row for Sabathia. It's time for the MetLife I Can Do This stat of the game. CC Sabathia is 15-3, 3.03 ERA in June as a Yankee. I guess there's some truth to the theory out that he just pitches better when it's hotter weather.
You know, and I do believe that. I mean, some guys just, you know, it takes a while. I mean, he's a big man, muscles, your whole body just getting used to it. Maybe his routine in spring training or prior to allows him to build up. I mean, this guy's an innings eater. I mean, the guy has pitched a lot of innings in his career. I mean, if you look back over the last 6 years, I mean, he's had a high of 253 innings in 2008. From 07 through 2012, almost 1,400 innings, 1,399 innings. That's your ace. A guy, of course, you want him to win 20 games, but if you could get a starting pitcher to go out and give you 7+ innings, third base umpire Tony Randazzo said he didn't go. That just helps the whole staff. It just lengthens it. Plus, you get a guy like CC who have the other guys show you the way. This is how it's done.
There's a strike. Grounded to first. Teixeira beats Kipnis to the bag. 2 outs. That's going to bring up Swisher. Nick grounded to short in the first inning. Strike on the inside corner.
Well, Yankee pitchers have held Nick Swisher hitless in this series, 0 for 9.
And he's 0 for his last 14. Foul back. Nick Swisher had a nice run as a Yankee. Hit some big home runs. Did some pitching.
Hey!
And it just seemed like he enjoyed every single day. A lot of pies, a lot of smiles, and a world championship to go along with it. The 1-2. Driven out to center field. 12 up, 12 down for City through 4. We're going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees lead 6-0. Here's the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Teixeira and Cano have started 545 games together at first and second base. Which two pairs of current teammates have started more? I wonder if that includes Jeter and Cano.
Ryan Howard, Chase Utley.
Oh, it's at first and second. They're only going with that. Okay, Ryan Howard and Chase Utley, and Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. Ryan Howard and Chase Utley, it's interesting. A lot of people saying that the Phillies have gotten old all at the same time, and they've really struggled. But the nice come from behind victory yesterday against the Marlins. John Mayberry Jr. tied it with a home run in the 9th and then won it on a walk-off grand slam. One of their younger players. Here's Kevin Youkilis.
How about Dominic Brown?
Oh, what a season he's had
in the National League in home runs. Here's a guy a couple years ago. You talk about not giving up on a guy. The Phillies just kept sending him back to AAA and thought he was a 4A player. He's got 17 home runs. Leads the National League.
Pitch inside to Teixeira.
You know, that's interesting, Mike, that you bring that up. Because when, you know, I know here we are in June and general managers and clubs evaluate where they are and what they need to improve. Are they pretenders? Are they contenders? You know, with that July 31st, and I know it's couple months away, how many teams are actually in it, especially with that additional wild card?
And because of that additional wild card, a lot of people say that there should be an August 31st trade deadline.
Or give it 2 more weeks. Because I think a lot of clubs that would deal at July 31st, they don't know whether they're buyers or sellers. And if you are on that cusp as a fan, your fan base, and they see you unload a couple key players, what does that say to your fan base? Even though you know you got to leapfrog 3 or 4 teams maybe, but you're 2 games over 500, that club.
One, 2. Fly ball right field, and Stubbs is there for the first out.
Yeah, I don't get it, because what is it? It's 2 weeks. 2 more weeks, 15 more games.
You know one thing, Al, baseball's very, very glacial in how they change things. They don't like to change things. Here's Jason Nix. Nix today is 1-for-1 double and scored a run. Jason's hitting .253, and the way he plays defense, Yankees couldn't be more thrilled.
Such a great, versatile player to have. Play anywhere.
That one is lined in the left field, and right there is Brantley for the second out. All right, here's today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center Inspired Medicine. This is around the American League. Jacoby Ellsbury has missed the last 4 games with the groin injury. Remember, he had that 5 stolen base night against the Phillies. Jake Peavy left the game last night with ribs. Ribs and oblique, that seems to be the new thing. Adrian Beltre missed the last 2 games with a hamstring. Hamstrings have really bedeviled him throughout his career.
Yeah, look, I saw Jake Peavy and a little bit of the highlights of him coming off the field. You talk about the 180 degrees that the White Sox have done with Robin Ventura from last year. Great surprise. It's been disappointing in Chicago.
They can't score runs.
Can't score runs.
Stewart fouls it away, quickly down 0-2.
But even at that, Michael, and how about the Minnesota Twins ahead of them? But they're 8 games under 500. Kansas City, everybody thought that was the darling of the American League with what they did. I love James Shields' addition. Irvin Santana, they also can't score.
Grounded softly to second. Kipnis makes the play. We go to the 5th inning. CC Sabathia is retired 12 in a row. He leads 6-0. CC Sabathia looks outstanding, Al. He is mowing people down, throwing strikes, and being very aggressive.
Well, that's the thing, Michael. Throwing strikes, you talk about this. 49 pitches, 34 strikes. Of the 12 batters he's faced, he's been ahead 9 times. I love the backdoor curveball. Little expansion of the zone right there. Maybe Larry Vanover got him one. The additional little click on the velocity is really making it tough on the Indian hitters to lay off that slider. He's been very good.
All right, he'll have Reynolds, Santana, and Aviles, middle of the order, here in the 5th inning. 6-0 Yankees. And that is obviously on the Kia scoreboard. Yankees have the shift on for the righty swinging Reynolds with 3 infielders on the left side. Good off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Regardless of the scoreboard, CC Sabathia is pitching to his game plan. Sometimes you'll see pitchers, they got the big lead, get behind, lay in some fastballs. He's thrown excellent. He's thrown a couple 3-2 breaking balls there. 1-0 pitch. He come back with a changeup. Mark Reynolds is a good mistake hitter.
The 2-1. Count 3-1. That one's popped up. Cano going out, Overbay coming in, and he makes the play for the first out. Boy, he's having a blast out there. Always smiling.
Isn't it great to see? It really is. Well, a relaxed player who's happy is going to play at his best. Now, right here, Michael, that's a 91-mile-an-hour fastball cut in on Reynolds' hands. Reynolds is a good fastball hitter. You know, the late movement. Lyle Overbay, nice little fly ball.
Things keep going like this, Al. He's not going to be that nonchalant out there. Pitch to Santana is a strike. Ground ball is short. Knicks. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Aviles. CC started with the Indians, and they knew they weren't going to be able to sign him when he became a free agent. So before he hit free agency, they traded him to the Milwaukee Brewers. And all he did with the Brewers was dominate. Absolutely dominate. And led them into the playoffs, then became a free agent and signed with the Yankees. His first year, 2009, and they won the World Series. Aviles with a fly ball to left field. Wells coming on, and it's going to dunk in front of him. So that is the first base runner for the Cleveland Indians as CC serves up a single, and the crowd here at the stadium will give him a nice hand. It was the sort of day with the sort of stuff that he has, Al, that you could let your mind wander just a little bit. He had that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think so. But I also just the luck factor of no hitters. How many hard hit balls are hit at somebody? Or there, as we just saw, Aviles hitting a little blooper to left field, little first pitch, little curveball out over the plate. I think Aviles thought that was a fly out as well. Just had it right in front of Vernon.
Seemed like Wells got a late jump out, maybe because it was off the end of the bat.
Yeah, let's see. This is a big cut, and that often happens where outfielders think that ball is hit harder or farther than it was. See, Vernon maybe didn't get a good jump on it. Would have been a heck of a play, even with a good jump.
That one is looped into center field, and it's caught by Gardner for the final out. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Perfect game is gone, but the shutout remains. Yes is brought to you in part by The Internship, starring Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, in theaters Friday. No, that's not Derek Jeter, but someone who's enjoying himself. Very chill.
Is that a fathead?
No, I don't believe it is. Kia scoreboard 6-0 Yankees. Today is Mariano Rivera Fathead Day. You know what a fathead is, right?
Yeah, they're
it's
awesome.
the stuff that's...
My son Jack's
yeah,
got
have them in their bedrooms. It's
awesome.
Yeah. Who does he have fatheads of?
He's got Cano.
Right.
Mariano Rivera. Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth, really?
Yeah, they go way back. That's nice.
He doesn't have dad?
No, they didn't make a fathead of me.
0-1 on Gardner as we start the bottom of the 5th. And a base hit. Gardner 2 for 3.
Home run to right field. Now a line drive over the past the shortstop. He's got it covered both ways.
Rich Hill warming.
Two lefties out of Terry Francona's bullpen. Saw Nick Hagedorn last night. The other lefty. Put him out. Lock him, sock him, so what about?
You had those as a kid?
I did. The little
yeah,
squeeze thing.
I think that's what it said on the box.
The squeeze thing.
Yeah, the squeeze thing. Which brother did you rock him, sock him with?
Mark. Rock him, sock him, robot.
Not your twin sister?
I don't think I did that.
One and two. Al, there's a lot of stories out there. I've got to get your response on this. That you might accept
Silly.
the role of senator of New Jersey.
Just how silly is that?
Well, that's what I'm
All
reading.
right, so there was a story apparently out of like the Philadelphia News Inquirer Gazette, whichever.
Okay.
And they had a laundry list of names.
Cano goes down on strikes. I think there were 25 names.
Yeah. So then I saw the name Chuckle.
Wait, your name was on the list?
Yeah. But it's
Because
like 25th.
Christie gets a chance to
He can
appoint
appoint.
it. But he said he's going to have a special election.
Right.
But if it was an appointing, you had a chance because you and Chris Christie are tight, right?
It'll still be appointed, but this special election that he's now put in place, I think the appointed senator for the late Senator Lautenberg will be like 4 months or 5 months until this election. They're going to have a primary, both parties, the whole bit. Silly. So what? Andrew Marchand, he came over yesterday and asked, I said, you know what, if a governor of any state came up to any American and said, hey, I'd consider you, of course he'd listen. It's silly. Christie's a Mets fan. He's a Springsteen fan.
Teixeira with a fly ball to left. Brantley makes the play. Well, this is the quote that you gave Andrew Marchand of ESPNNewYork.com.
Got my
Quote,
mistake.
who wouldn't be interested if the governor of your state, for whatever reason,
Right.
of their due process, thought you were worthy, in their opinion? So, yeah, I would be interested.
Something like that.
So there's a chance if Chris Christie gives you buzz,
If he gave me
that
a buzz,
this could be your last game ever, yes, or at least until you lose the election in November.
could be. Small chance.
Wow, that would be exciting.
Right.
Yeah. You
Would
get
you?
political
Let me
office
answer this. Okay,
in a second.
So Cuomo,
Andy,
Andrew Cuomo, he came to you and said, Michael,
let's go. Yeah, let's do it.
So no more play-by-play? Yes, Network?
Take a little sabbatical until my term's
Right, it's
over.
only 4 months.
Right. You've always had political aspirations. But then you realize that you'd be vetted.
Yeah, I guess there would be vetting, wouldn't there?
I think you'd be very good. You're very honest.
Yep. I bring back
You're a
big
likable
gulps.
guy.
I bring back big gulps and Slurpees.
Now you're going to rattle the cage of Michael Bloomberg.
No,
That's
I like
nice.
Michael. I like Michael.
You've been to Michael's house too, right?
I have.
Kluber deals. And there's a strike.
You look at these 2 games, now 3 games. The big inning has hurt the Indians and helped the Yanks. 4 runs in the first game against Masterson, the big grand slam. Another 4-run third inning last night. And now second inning, 4 runs. Completely different mindset. You get a starting pitcher. Kluber's settled down since the home run that Gardner's hit.
Here's Hafner's home run in Yes View.
Just every one of these Yes View home runs, Michael, it's a beautiful swing. You see the foot down, connection out front of the front leg, extension. Very few, excuse me, mistake home run swings.
He's enjoyed hitting against his former team. 3 home runs and 7 ribbies in 5 games this year. But he swings and misses there, and that'll do it in the 5th. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 man left. Michael Kay along with the possible future senator of New Jersey. 6-0 Yankees. All right, the internship scoreboard. Top of the 6th inning, it's 6-0. Yankees over the Indians. CC Sabathia has allowed 1 base runner. A bloop single that fell in front of Vernon Wells with 2 outs in the 5th inning off the bat of Mike Aviles, and that is it. No walks. 5 strikeouts. Gomes will start it off. And a strike. Boy, this is a pitcher's umpire today. Larry Vanover calling much more than a 17-inch strike zone.
And it's both sides, Michael. You're right. And when that happens, hitters, you either fight with them all night, all day, or expand your zone, swing. Sometimes you see hitters, they just get such small little take zone or mindset. If it's not exactly right there, I'm not going to swing. Well, Larry Vanover's shown, boys, if it's close, I'm calling a strike.
Well, I always tell the same story when we get to talk about this. And I quote one of the best hitters I've ever seen, Wade Boggs. And he would always have a problem with John Hirschbeck's strike zone, which is before Questak really, really wide. And I said to him, just what you said, I said, well, it's going to be wide, so why don't you expand your strike zone? 1-2. Grounded to second. Cano gets Gomes for the first out. I said, let me get this straight. I've been learning this strike zone since I picked up a bat at the age of 3. You want me to unlearn it for one game when John Hirschbeck's behind the plate? Sorry, I can't do that.
All right, so now Wade Boggs is a totally different animal. I mean, there's a guy that had unbelievable plate strike zone recognition, the ability, the bat was like a baton. Not every hitter's like that. How many times do we watch highlight reels of guys swinging at pitches that are out of the zone and hit it out of the ballpark? You see it every night. And my gripe was always, Michael, with the high strike. I thought you were going to tell me, if you think of a batter, they can't cover this and they can't cover that. It's too wide. But they can cover up and down, meaning plate coverage. See, now that ball's a little off the plate. Keep your hand out of the way, CC. Look at the speed.
Infield single for Stubbs. We saw him do it yesterday. That was a ground ball to short. This one is a ground ball to second.
Yeah, Drew Stubbs has that kind of speed. He was a leadoff hitter with the Reds several years. Robbie just didn't get to it quick enough. That's the kind of speed that Drew Stubbs has. There on your Mercedes-Benz Yesmo. Beating it out. Easily. And back to the strike zone. It's up and down. Let's take a look here. Shoots out of the box. You see Derek Jeter do this for years. How many base hits hitters can beat out with decent speed? Certainly the guys with good speed, they got 15, 20 hits a year. The up and down, the high low. A hitter can hit from belt or letter high to knees.
Well, I'm sure you've had discussions with umpires. The book strike zone is from the letters to the knees. You hardly. Yesterday we saw one called at the letters. We were shocked.
Yeah.
What's their excuse for not calling?
Because it's been conditioned from side. Now look, when you're in the dugout, you can't see this or this, but you can see this, and that's the one that they try to stay away from. Of not having to hear guys screaming, yelling, barking. Now they have to look into the dugout.
But they scream and yell and bark because they don't call it. If they called it all the time like it's written, it'd be a different story.
I'm with you. I mean, if you look at old footage, guys, the strike zone was what it was. I mean, if you throw a ball and you hit the top of Chris Stewart's head, which was about here, that's a ball. That's no doubt a ball. You get this as a ball at times, a little above the belt.
Runner goes 1-2 and hit through the vacated hole for a hit-and-run single. So they sent Stubbs. Nix went to cover, and Bourne hit it through the vacated hole for a single.
Yeah, perfectly executed. You got two good guys to do that. Michael Bourne, he had a 2-strike count. Stubbs is on his way, easily getting there. Now you see the coverage with Jason Nix covering the stolen base. Base hit. Well done. The additional speed that the Indians lineup has taken on with Bourne and Stubbs.
Well, you have to have a lot of confidence to run down 6-0. Here's Kipnis. And a strike.
Not only confidence, Michael, you have a guy that you believe that can handle the bat. CeCe's been around the plate. And you don't have just a decent runner. You have a very good runner, speed-wise, in Drew Stubbs. I hear what you're saying. You run yourself out of an inning because of that. But right now, the way CC's throwing, I think Terry Francona said, look, we need some movement here. Put the ball in play, hit it on the ground, you got a chance.
Grounded and off the glove of Mark Teixeira, and it trickles into right field. Stubbs scores, Bourne goes to third. That's an RBI single for Kipnis, and the Indians are on the board. It's a 6-1 Yankee lead.
Yeah, beat out single. Drew Stubbs started this little rally here for the Indians. Now, Mark Teixeira just on the backside of his glove. You see here he scoots out, making sure he's got coverage. Let's see where it hits on the glove. Just barely misses it. You got a little hit and run dribbler, 1-2 count. Michael Bourne, a vacated hole that Jason Nix had, first and third, and now this.
Grounded to third. They go to second, one on to first. And the throw pulls Teixeira off the bag, and that'll allow Bourne to score. And now the Yankees lead is 6-2.
Well, first and third, as a pitcher, you're just thinking about getting the out. What about Robinson Cano trying to get this transfer real quick? Kipnis right up on him. Better throw. He may have gotten Swisher. Watch here as he makes contact. His toe is on the base and then up in the air. I mean, the arm strength to throw a ball in the air with decent velocity. Just let it go a little too soon. Leap toward the first base line.
Reynolds swings and misses. Reynolds 0 for 2 with a ground ball to third and a fly ball to right. Well, 2 runs in now. It shows you how this game is, and really one hard hit ball. That was by Jason Kipnis, and a ball that I think Teixeira would make that play 97 out of 100 times. Nick Swisher now 0 for his last 16, but he does pick up his 22nd ribby. And Reynolds goes down on strikes. 2 runs on 3 hits. 1 man left on base. Yankees 6-2. Time now for a peek at the internship in theaters Friday. Give fans the ability to choose games that fit their schedule. Pick out preferred seating locations for games against the Yankees' biggest rivals, save money off the advanced ticket price, and receive access to Yankees postseason pre-on sale. For more information, call 212-YANKEES or visit Yankees.com. Now we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees up now by 4, 6-2 on the internship scoreboard. And Vernon Wells will lead it off as Kluber is still in there. Thrown just 76 pitches. Gave up 2 in the first and 4 in the second. Count 2-0.
Good fastball count here. Let's see if Kluber decides to go with challenge Vernon Wells. He's been struggling.
Count 2-1.
That right there, Michael, says where a guy is mentally. 2-0 count, fastball down the middle. Takes a strike.
Oh. 3-1.
See the little flinch from home plate. Or the catcher, Yan Gomes. That ball was middle, little above the belt.
That's the pitch that's getting Wells all the time, the one diving down and away. Usually the slider gets him, but that's just a tailing fastball.
Yeah, that's a good one too, Michael. 90 miles an hour. Watch this cutter. Kluber's kind of thrown less of these. That's just a pitcher's pitch. Those pitches, very few hitters in baseball would hit. You look for the mistake. There's a ball down the middle. Now he's got velocity up to 95 miles an hour. That might have been his best fastball of the day.
Strike 3. Wells thought it was ball 4. But that's been Vanover all day.
It has. So let's see here. This guy's a little cut. Ball cuts back on the plate. From that angle, it looked like a strike. Here, we'll get a good look right here. Missed by about an inch, too close. And that's what Vanover's been calling this afternoon. See the little late cut. That's a good pitch. Purpose pitch to do exactly what Vernon Wells, how he reacted.
Pitch to Overbay is upstairs. One and one. Matt Langwell and Rich Hill. Count 2-1. Now 2-2. You know, it's a matinee, a day game out because you could hear the sound of the cheers. It's high-pitched voices. A lot of kids at the ballpark, and a lot of afternoon games. You see the wave as the kids start to do that. Kind of neat as we start to head towards summer.
How are they out of school already?
I think some schools are out.
Private schools.
I'm not sure, but some are.
Or maybe it's a field trip. Yankee Stadium. How cool is that?
Swing and a miss. You know, he gave up 2 in the first and 4 in the second. Can you see what they like about Kluber since then?
Absolutely, Michael. Just talking to Terry Francona and Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, I could see where the upside is, and it's a mistake situation when you have a blow-up inning, and who thinking that Brett Gardner's going to hit a home run. Brett's good for 4 or 5 a year. How about that, Michael? It's suit and ties, or ties and nice shirts. That's like going back to the 40s.
All you need is a fedora, and it's a 1930s photo. Eugelis takes high.
Talk about settling in, and every pitcher nightmare is that blow up inning. You can deal with one run in the first, one in the third. Your team doesn't feel like they're out of it. When you talk about settling down, Kluber's retired 12 of the last 13 batters, and you see it so often where a guy they finally settles in. He knows what's working. Kluber's a guy that really is a 3-pitch pitcher. He's throwing some good cutters.
Line drive, a base hit. It gets past Brantley. It goes to the wall, and Eugelis picks up a 2-out double here in the 6th. Crowd with the Uke chant. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Yankees baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Here's Jason Nix. Nix is 1 for 2, hitting .252. Six, 7-0 Yanks, 2, 4-1 Indians. This is a tough road trip for the Indians. They have 3 games coming up in Detroit, then 3 games in Texas. They've also lost 7 straight games on the road. And Terry Francona is saying we have to think about the game today, not think about a long road trip and the tough teams we're going to play. (2-0), 2-1.
Well, if you think about the stretch since the Detroit series they've played, they have 25 games facing teams 500 or better. Detroit, Boston, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, here in New York. As you mentioned, Texas and Detroit again. And then throw in Washington, the Nationals. They've done a good job. This has been a good baseball story for historically a good baseball town, one of the original American League teams dating way back.
Count 2-2. I guess he called that a ball because we have it at 3-1. No, and now the scoreboard in center has it at 2-2. And I think that's what it is, 2-2. Did signal 2-2. So we're all set up. Runner on second, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. That's the breakdown of the 99 pitches. So a tough second inning with 28. And now 23 here in the 6th. After today's game, Yankees go to Seattle. 4 games there, 3 games in Oakland, and then 3 games in Anaheim. So their West Coast swing. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and that will do it as Kluber gets 3 Yankees to strike out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We'll go to the 7th, 6-2 Bombers. Brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 6-2 Yanks. 7 hits for the Yankees, 4 for the Indians. Kipnis an RBI single for Cleveland. Gardner a 3-run home run, and Hafner a 2-run home run. The other run came in on a Chris Stewart single. Sabathia did not allow a base runner till a 2-out single in the 5th inning to Mike Aviles. Ichiro Suzuki takes over for Overbay and Wright. So the Yankees have started Overbay 3 straight games in right, and no problem so far. Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees up 6-2. Carlos Santana leads off, and a breaking ball strike. Santana playing first today, Swisher the DH. Fly ball, shallow left, and another late jump for Wells as that falls in for a base hit. Told you the Yankees are in Seattle tomorrow. The starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet that's powerful. Phil Hughes goes for the Yankees 2-4, 5.37. Aaron Harang for Seattle 2-5, 5.82. It all begins at 9:30 right here on Yes. Those are the matchups for the 4 games. Perota and Bonderman on Friday. Pettit and Saunders on Saturday. And Phelps and Hernandez on Sunday. Pitch to Aviles is a strike.
Talking to Mike Aviles before the game, I said, were you a Yankee fan or Mets fan? You know what he said?
What?
I was a Mariner fan. He grew up here, not too far from the Bronx, a New York City kid. He said, my dad was a Yankee fan, my mom's a Met fan, I had relatives in New York. I said, you know what, I'm a Ken Griffey Jr. fan. And he said the Indians. When they were dominating in the mid-90s, he was a kid. Manny Ramirez was his guy on that team. There you go, Middletown High School, Concordia College. I asked him in that first game of this series with Andy Pettit, he just had like a baton type cricket swing, like a goalie hit a ball to right field, and just talking about how he works with Michael Bourne. And many 1-2 hitters, Michael Bourne being the leadoff guy and Aviles settle in nicely. They work together. Just the idea of like putting on their own hit and runs and getting some communication. And getting a feel as to whether your guy in front of you is going to steal a bag or not, when to take.
Chopped to short. There's one. And there's two. A 6-6-3 double play.
CC's done so well, taking a little bit off his fastball. Nick's doing the right thing. Why have a transfer? Takes it himself. Easy double play. Jason Nick's done a nice job. Third base, short, second. So important to have a player like Jason Nick with his versatility, and does a good job at it.
Brantley with a single to right field. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Gomes hits one deep to left field. Wells back, track, wall, see ya. It's a ball game. A 2-run home run, and the Yankee lead is down to 2, 6-4.
God Gomes, this first pitch slider ends up being middle of the plate. CC has gotten him out twice with that slider. First pitch, some guys will sit on it, say, look, he struck me out already on it. Little ground ball to second base on a slider. Got it down and in. Watch this ball here. It's supposed to be away. Ends up being middle of the plate. Look where Chris Stewart's pulling his glove. That ball, his intention was to be a give-up pitch on the outside part of the plate.
Drew Stubbs takes inside. 93-mile-an-hour fastball by CC. Coasting along at 6-0, and now it's 6-4. One and one. Some stirring in the Yankee bullpen. No one warming just yet. Oh. Count 2-1. Last two pitches, hardest that CC's thrown all day, so getting aggravated.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens with a guy like CC. You get annoyed and all of a sudden you elevate your velocity.
And Cano gets Stubbs for the final out. But 2 more runs on 3 hits. No errors and nobody left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees 6 and the Indians 4. But we're going to stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate. And welcome 2 honored guests of the New York Yankees. United States Air Force Master Sergeant Joseph Hughley, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And United States Air Force Senior Master Sergeant Kevin Finnan, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Nancy, a little bit later on. Al, we know you had a no-hitter. What's the latest you lost one?
Oh, geez, Michael, you know what? I always thought this. I'm not sure, but I always thought that the 7th inning was actually the legitimate inning to start really paying attention. I know, all the networks and everybody, 5 innings, he's got a no-hitter. You get through the 7th inning, generally, if you got no walks, it's a perfect game. You're going to face 1, 2, 3 in the lineup. Tough to do. 1 walk or 2 walks, you either got 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. I'm sure 5 innings or so.
Well, thanks for clearing that up, Al. Terry Francona makes a call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So Kluber's day is over now. Matt Langwell takes over, just his 2nd game. Indians want to hold it right here, give themselves a chance over the final 2 innings. Kluber gave up 2 in the second, 2 in the first and 4 in the second, and then shut down the Yankees. And the Indians over the last 2 innings have put up 2 each inning to turn it into a 6-4 game. 9-1-2 in the Yankee order against Langwell. The Cadillac scoreboard: Yankees 6, Indians 4. Count 1-0.
What did you say? Andy Pettit, son, was looking at Rice University?
No, he's got a scholarship to Baylor.
Oh, Baylor. So Matt Langwell, 11th round pick in 2008 out of Rice University. 27 years old. Been in the organization now for a few years. Just got his major league debut a couple days ago against Tampa. Evan Longoria greeted him with a home run.
And Stewart walks to open up the 7th. To vote for the Chevy player of the game, visit votechevy.com. Results will be revealed in the postgame show. Well, Terry Francona brought in Langwell for 1 batter. So now he's going to go to the lefty with Gardner and Cano due up. So the kid pitches his 2nd game, walks Stewart, and then walks to the dugout. Have a new pitcher. The left-hander is Rich Hill. That is 1 high ERA in 22 games. 20 hits and 10 walks. That's 30 base runners in 16 innings, almost 2 an inning.
Yeah, unlike Kluber, who's had a very low whip, or lower certainly. Too many base runners as a reliever, and then 10 walks in the 16 innings. Obviously, they aren't good numbers. Thus the 8.44 ERA. This is where managers have to figure out a way. You have your go-to guys, and then you have your guys in the pen that are to hold the fort down if your offense can come back. And many major league clubs have a tough time filling out 6, 7 quality arms in the bullpen. Not only quality arms, but guys that are effective and get the job done. And the teams that have that kind of length, you can have different relievers to go to. It'll be interesting what Joe Girardi does today, Michael. Mariano 2 days in a row, Jabba 2 days in a row. See what he does if this game stays the way it does. Will Mariano be pitching tonight?
Hill against Gardner. Gardner shows bunt, takes outside. Joe has said this, and Joe never tips his hand in the pregame press conference, but he's told me he's not going to use Mariano 3 days in a row, at least not early in the season. And he told me this sometime in April. So is June 5th early in the season still? I still don't think he wants to use him 3 days in a row.
Which is why nobody warming up here. CC, that's why you have your ace on the mound. You're going to try to get through 8 innings. CC is only at 89 pitches, so plenty more pitches left in the tank there. He's a guy that could go 110, 115.
There's a bunt. Rich Hill fields and flips to Santana as Stewart moves to second.
Push that a little harder, get a chance to get a base hit. Left-handers generally fall toward third base side. Let's take a look here. Let's see what Rich Hill does. Second baseman. Now they're respecting the fact that if he does push it harder, Jason Kipnis, second base, has got to feel that. And Brett Gardner's speed, he can beat out a lot of bunt singles, I believe. Got the job done.
Cano today is 0 for 2 with a walk. He's 1 for his last 14. And with the Yankee lineup short, despite the return of Youkilis and Teixeira, Cano has to step up in these moments. His average is now down to 280. 14 homers and 36 ribbies. And, you know, as the Yankees evolve and their older players move into different areas of importance, Cano has to be the guy.
Well, he is the guy, and I hear you. You know, when you mention numbers like that, you know when Robbie's right. And I keep referring to the fact that here's a guy. Yes, he can go long ball right field, but when he stays on the baseball and hits the line drive approach to left center field, now accidents on the inside part of the plate. He's so quick inside. He can get to that pitch. And it's part of it, Michael. And I think that's what, you know, getting guys like Teixeira back, and Youkilis, and who knows with Granderson. You see Joe Smith, the side armor, warming up in the Indians pen. You know, it just alleviates the I got to be the guy. But your point well taken. This guy is a superstar, and he is the Yankee force. And I know they have a lot of supporting cast, great supporting cast. But this is the guy that every pitching coach and pitching staff says, okay, how is he not going to beat us? Let's look at the video. Is he cold? Is he hot? What are the areas in which that we can exploit weaknesses?
Well, you know, Robbie is going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and he's going to want to be paid like the guy who carries the team. And the Yankees need him to carry the team. Count 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the attention of every major league fan and club and media outlet, assuming he does file for free agency and becomes a free agent. He is that special, and certainly a lot of teams are aware of what he's capable. But I hear you. I mean, he's got to be the one that says, okay, when we're down and we need the big hit consistently, you You got to get it done.
Grounds that one right side. Kipnis is there, and he gets Cano for the second out as Stewart moves to third. So Robbie now is 1 for his last 15. If the Yankees could hold on and win this game, they'd get out of this homestand feeling better about things than after the first 5 games. They'd be 4-4. But they lost the 2 games to the Mets and 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox, and it could have been a disastrous homestand. But this one really cleans it up a little if they can hold on and finish it 4-4, as they will intentionally walk to Shera and deal with the lefty swinging half. And Mark has great numbers career against the Indians. 319, 14 homers and 66 ribbies in 71 games. So they want to avoid him at this moment. He's hurt them in this series with a grand slam and a 3-run home run. Today he's 0 for 3.
Well, even with the short porch at right field and Travis Hafner, the Indians know what his power potential is, and he's already shown it today with the home run his first at bat. Well, here it is in the first inning. Tried to get a fastball in. Kluber did. Middle of the plate. He knew it right away. I mean, that's the kind of strength, no doubt about it, power that Travis Hafner possesses. And I'm sitting here, Michael, if I'm on the mound, I know that Travis Hafner, not that he has to be the hero, but it always feels good when you do well against your old club, and he came up through the organization, played there for many years. I'm Rich Hill. I'm staying away. I'm not even daring to miss inside. Something out there, yeah. Always looked at lineups. Who wants to be the hero on the other team? Who's a guy that runners in scoring position will swing at pitches that are out of the zone because they want to drive runners in? Well, some guys are patient. They'll pass the baton to the next hitter.
Count 2-0. And the next hitter is Vernon Wells. And Callaway wants to talk with Rich Hill.
Yeah, this is one of those conversations right here. Obviously, the game well within reach. I mean, it's 2 runs deficit for the Indians. You got a guy that this is one of those conversations from Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach. Don't give in here. You got 2-0 count. What are you thinking? You know, make a pitch here. You got 2 outs. Probably be his last batter if he loses it with Joe Smith on deck and Vernon Wells, or in the bullpen with Vernon Wells on deck.
(2-0), 3-0.
That's exactly what that was. It's not the be careful, because be careful advice from the pitching coach. Often you see pitchers just aim it, guide it. It's don't give in.
Deals a strike. Count 3-1. Vernon Wells already checking in with Kevin Long, going over Joe Smith, I'm sure. Kevin's got all that information. And he walked him. So that loads the bases. And that brings Francona out of the dugout. Whether or not the Indians can make a comeback, it pretty much depends on this move right here. Can Joe Smith get Vernon Wells? Or can Vernon Wells come up with a big hit? 6-4, you can dream. Anything more than that, going to be tough. Stick around. the Toyota Prius, official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. All right, we're in the bottom of the seventh. What was a 6-0 lead is now 6-4, but the Yankees can get some runs here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Joe Smith, his numbers are outstanding, comes in to face Vernon Wells with the bases loaded.
Tough on right-handers. Joe Smith's done a nice job with the Indians. You see the low ERA, .95. Comes down low 3/4. Little sinking action on his fastball, slider away. Tough on the righties. Joe Smith, a high draft pick for the Mets. 3rd round in 2006.
Pitch inside. Vernon Wells 0 for 3 in this game. 3 for his last 44. His average all the way down to 242. Vernon needs a big hit almost as much as the Yankees need him to get a big hit.
Just to get his head right, no matter what. Little dribbler somewhere through a hole. Feels so much better. Give a little breathing room too for the Yankees in the next couple of 6 outs, 2 innings. Vernon 6 at bats against Joe Smith, 1 for 6. That's the grind. That's the tough aspect of Major League hitters. And aside from facing the best arms in the world, when you're in a slump, how do you get out of it? How do you stay away from those long droughts where you can't get a hit or find a hit?
2-1. Ichiro's on deck. That one is looped to right field, but backing up is Kipnis to make the play. And Smith comes on and does the job. No runs, 3 walks, and the bases are left loaded. We go to the 8th. You got to stay with Yes after the final out for the W.B. Mason postgame. Nancy Newman and Jack Curry recap today's finale and get the latest from other day games around baseball. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz is back, and she'll be having the clubhouse reaction and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's the W.B. Mason postgame only on Yes. She'll be having. So we go to the 8th. CC still in there. He deals to Michael Bourne. And there's a strike on the Hyundai scoreboard. 6-4 Yankees lead. Oh, 2. Bourne singled in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Also scored in that inning on the Swisher ground ball. He could not hold up on the pitch away. He goes down on strikes. Yankees 2.5 games behind the Red Sox, tied with the Orioles for second place. The Rays 4 back, and the Blue Jays continue to flounder, 11.5 behind the first place Sox.
Bit of a surprise. I think that's one of the stories, the negative stories. You think about the moves, what the Blue Jays did this winter. Not too many people thought that they would be in the cellar right now.
Red Sox playing Texas tonight at Fenway.
CC all afternoon getting that breaking ball over. He throwing a slider, 82 miles an hour. The curveball speed about 76, 77. And you mentioned it last inning, Michael, after he had given up the home run to Yan Gomes, the velocity went up. You know, there's no doubt about it. You know, when you pitch in the big leagues there, Preston Claiborne getting ready in the Yankee bullpen, you get a chance to go deep in the game, maybe complete a game. You know that your bullpen has been pitching a lot. The go-to guys, Jabba 2 days in a row, Robertson the same, Mariano. You want to be that guy, and that's what CC Sabathia has been his whole career. 230 innings, 240 innings every year. And that's the moment where it kind of goes unseen, where you know you have the good year, you throw 100 or 200 plus innings, but when during the season you're aware of one guy every 5th day that you need to help out the staff. Give those guys a breather down there.
Swing and a miss. Kipnis down on strikes.
Good late action, 96th pitch of the day. Watch there's a little tail to that at the very end. And why he's so tough, especially on the left-hander, see the little two-seamer. This is supposed to have some little tail back into the left-handed batter, is that slider. So he's shown that little fastball slider combination. Tough to hit.
And that strikeout ties Gooden for 47th place on the all-time list, 22.93. Next up, Juan Marichal. Here's Nick Swisher, 0 for 3 today. 1-0. Again, the thing with CC, he's got 8 strikeouts, and he has not walked the batter. Count 2-0. CC looking to pick up his 6th win of the season. He's 5-4.
Watched Nick Swisher for years as a teammate. Loves to hit the fastball. Good fastball hitter. 2-0 count with the 2-run lead. CC Sabathia throw a little curveball.
Let's see what he does on 3-0. 100th pitch of the day. There's a strike, doing a fastball. Swisher taking all the way. And Swisher works a walk. Check this swing. A lot of the Indian players marvel at how many pitches Swisher actually sees, and it has an effect on the rest of the lineup because you see what a pitcher has, especially early in a game. You have a guy that might look at 5-6 pitches, and the guys hitting behind him know exactly what the arsenal is going to be that day.
They were the hardest guys, Michael. The guys that would wait you out, not be afraid to go to 2 strikes, make you throw your repertoire. You're right. And then, look, if you get more guys in the lineup that'll see 4, 5, 6 pitches in a bat, the pitch count goes up quickly.
Mark Reynolds hits one deep to right center, but right there is Ichiro. He runs it down for the final out of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 Yanks. Seattle will kick off a 10-game West Coast swing with a matchup against the Mariners at Safeco. Coverage starts at 9:30 with the Tri-State Ford pregame, only on Yes. At this point, those little Yankee fans are happy. Yankees on the Hyundai scoreboard lead 6-4. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning as they look for more. And it's another pitcher for the Blue Jays. It's their closer, Vinny Pistano.
Pistano, good arm. I know that ERA isn't reflective. They see him. He is the closer right now with Chris Perez on the disabled list with a bad shoulder. He also had some trouble with his elbow. Was on the DL earlier. Has come back. His stuff's not quite the same. Terry Francona's trying to get him in there after a couple days off. You got to get your late inning guy some work.
Pitch outside, 1-0 to Ichiro. This will be his first at bat. He took over in the 7th inning. A defensive switch, taking over for Overbay. Hard. 1-1. In his last 7 innings pitched, Pistano has allowed 7 earned runs in 7 games. Count 2-1.
Yeah, as I said earlier in the game, the bullpen for the Indians was viewed as a strength coming out of spring training. Pistano has not been the same. He's had elbow trouble. He went on the disabled list.
Chopped to short. And Ichiro beats it out. So the slow roller or chopper to Aviles, and Ichiro running hard picks up a hit.
That's it, Michael, out of the box. Guys that have done this so many times. Aviles, I don't know whether, it took a little too much time, not realizing that Ichiro could still bust it down the line. Bang, bang. Let's see, was he safe? Yeah, he was safe either way. Santana could not make the play and scoop it. There's a better shot here. Safe. Saw that earlier with Drew Stubbs beating out an infield hit.
Well, Al, CC's at 102 pitches. Yep. And you see that base hit now breaks the tie that Ichiro was in with Ted Williams. And no one is up in the Yankee bullpen.
Well, it just really tells you where, Joe Girardi was hoping for something like this. His leash is going to be one batter. You're not going to allow CC to just a bit outside. He's not going to let him lose the game. It's going to be one of those where if he gets a guy on, he's going to pull him. You hate to have the body of work of what CeCe's done up to this point, up to put an L next to his name, potential L.
And he also knows, Al, that he's going to have an extra day rest his next start because they have 4 games in Seattle. Then Monday is an off day before they start the series against Oakland.
You know what? I like it, Michael. Why all of a sudden 100 pitches, the bells go off, and fire trucks show up? Like, how did that happen? That's a big, strong guy. For occasionally pitch 110, 120. If you had to get to 130 once in a while, watch it with your eyeballs. I just seen too many managers over the last handful of years. It's just as soon as you get to 100 pitches, guy could have like a 3-hit shutout. They get somebody warming up. I'm not saying every start you get a guy to go 120, 125, but once in a while, especially a guy like CeCe who's done it.
His season high this year is 118. 2-1. Euclid hits one to right center. Bourne battling the sun. Makes the play. Tagging is Ichiro. And he's going to move to third.
Bourne tried to put himself in pretty good position, but Ichiro too fast of a runner, and Bourne doesn't have that kind of arm. Advance the runner. Euclid get a little high 5 forward. So you got a pretty good position, but you see the lack of velocity on that throw. Ichiro easily getting to third base. See some situational hitting right here. The infield to be in for the Indians. Jason Nick's been handling the bat this series nicely.
Yankees 6, Indians 4. Bottom of the 8th inning. And the pitch is high to Nix. Nix 1 for 3. Adam Warren is throwing in the Yankee pen. It's a little odd that they would go with Warren if CeCe falters and not Preston Claiborne. Fouled away.
Often, Michael, the guys that haven't thrown in a while, look, that's the hardest thing for a reliever, especially not a go-to guy. You have to hold back your bullets. So you play catch earlier in the day. Maybe you get your partner to squat, simulate some pitching, but Adam Warren hasn't gotten in a game in a few days. This could be more just go out, get loose, get some work in. Obviously I don't know what Joe Girardi's thinking, but I'm with you. I think the way Preston Claiborne's thrown, unless Joe sees some kind of matchup situation.
Count 1-2.
Really, if the leash is one batter, Carlos Santana, switch hitter, leads off the 9th inning. Then you have Aviles and then Michael Brantley.
Nick Hagedorn, saw him yesterday. He's up. That's if it gets to Gardner or Cano. 5 pitchers already used by Francona. Nix chases the high fastball for the second out. Well, Pastano last year in 70 games, 2.57 ERA, allowed 7 homers in 70 games. Now 14 games, he's allowed 3 homers, and his ERA 5.14. But he's starting to round back into shape. Al said he had some problems with his elbow, and his velocity got down to about 87, 88, and more of a 93 guy.
Or better, Michael. Here's a guy, Tommy John surgery out of Cal State Fullerton.
Chris Stewart takes a strike.
Boy, those tack-on runs, such a different feel emotionally for the defense and the pitching staff. Jason Nix not able to get it done with less than 2 outs.
2-1.
It's going to be a big hit right here. Get an extra run.
Stewart 1 for 2, RBI. Run scored, also walked. Yankees have 8 hits, the Indians 7. Two and two.
Stano, kind of a slinger, dropped down a little bit. He's kind of that low 3/4 arm slot. 91 is not registered 95 or better. Sneaky fast.
And the 2-2. He struck him out. So he gets out of a jam. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. 9th inning coming up. Indians down by 2. We go to the 9th inning, and the Yankees will let CC try to close this out. They lead by 2. They scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings and have been shut down since. And now CC has to close it out to complete the sweep. At this point, there's no one up in the Yankee bullpen. Warren was up, but he's taking a seat. That's the breakdown of the 102 pitches. He really didn't have a big inning in terms of 25 or 30 pitches, and that's why he's still in the game right now. Girardi does not want to use Rivera 3 days in a row. Santana takes a strike. Santana, Aviles, and Brantley here in the 9th as the Indians try to come back. Santana 1 for 3 today. And CC throwing strikes 0-2.
Now that's a beautiful recipe. Pound the zone late in the game, create some doubt in the hitter's mind.
Grounded to third. Backhanded by Youkilis. The long throw, and they get Santana for the first out. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you by the Kia Optima Limited Midsize Sedan. Elegance, performance, technology. By Centerlight Healthcare. Centerlight, proud partner of the New York Yankees, and by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 Pilot. Here is Aviles. Count 1-0. Indians looking to get one guy on, and then that would bring the tying run to the plate, give him a shot. Count 1-1. About that, Mariano is warming up. Nice catch by a fan in the second level. Caught that in his hat. Pitch outside, 2-2.
Oh, warm it up.
A little surprised?
Well, based on what you said, he had 2 easy appearances because no save is easy, but made it look easy the last 2 nights.
Strike 3. Avila's down looking. He's angry, but he can't be because that pitch has been called a strike all day from both sides.
Yeah, I think the Indians feel like they haven't had a favorable strike zone. Look at his front hip just going open it up, either looking for something on the inside part of the plate. Watch how he leaks here.
I mean, come on, that's not even close out.
That ball's away. That was a better shot. I thought the other view was strike. That was a ball.
But he's done that to the Yankees too. That's his strike zone today. Here is Michael Brantley, last chance for the Indians. Breaking ball strike. Nine strikeouts for Sabathia. His season high is 10. He's done it twice. Last time was in his last start against the Red Sox. 0-2. Just stays alive.
It's so much fun to watch. CC made it look pretty easy. I know he gave up the home run in the 7th, kind of ruined great numbers to look like good numbers or decent numbers. This is old school pitching right here. 115 pitches.
1-2. Last complete game for CC, August 3rd, 2012. Threw 103 pitches and a 6-3 win against Seattle. Oh, 1-2. 2-2.
Well, Larry Vanover's had a big zone, but he couldn't end the game on that pitch. There's a slider running away. Watch Stewart pulling the glove. Oh, that's not even close. And the ball sweeping around the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. Hit to Cano. He backs up to the outfield grass, and the Yankees win. CC Sabathia steps up with a tired bullpen and gives the Yankees a complete game 6-4 victory, the complete 3-game sweep of the Cleveland Indians.
Here it is right here. Gets a pitch on the inside part of the plate. You betcha CC Sabathia. Michael, you mentioned it was a year ago that he had his complete game. It's a good feeling. You start and finish what you started. Good day. Not a good day, a great day for CC Sabathia and the Yanks.
So the Yankees turned around with something that could have been an awful homestand, and they finished it at 4-4 with the 3-game sweep of the Indians. And the Yankees have had 5 sweeps this year, 10 all of last year. Remind you to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. And now the Yankees will hit the West Coast, Seattle first, then Oakland, and then Anaheim. And they will try to creep even closer to the first place Red Sox. They're now 2 games back of Boston, with Boston playing tonight against Texas. Hey, Meredith has caught up with CC in front of the Yankee dugout. Meredith?
Thanks, Michael. CC, you talked a lot last time about how you were trying to be more aggressive on the mound, especially early. How much did that approach today help you early on retire 14 straight?
I think it helped a great deal. Just trying to be aggressive in the strike zone. I know these guys like to work the count. So I was just trying to attack and, was able to get some early outs.
You look at this team, they gave you a 6-run cushion within the first 2 innings. How much does that help to relax on the mound?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime you get some kind of runs early in the game, you can kind of get in the groove and try to work into the game, and 6 runs is awesome.
Just over 100 pitches. Was there any doubt in your mind that Joe was going to let you go back out there in the 9th?
No, he told me after the 8th that, finish it. So, I felt pretty confident that I was going to be able to try to finish it.
How much pride do you take in going 9 innings, especially considering the fact that bullpen has been taxed a little bit?
It has been, and that's, the biggest strength of our team. So we need to keep them healthy, keep them rested, and it felt good to be able to give them rest tonight.
And the importance of finishing up the homestand the way you guys did after the way it started?
It's good. We just got to keep plugging away, keep grinding. It's a long year, but hopefully we can keep going.
CC, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Michael, send it back up to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Meredith, and thank you to CC as well. A complete game victory for him. He goes to 6-4, and we get back. We'll have an award to give out, then get you set for the post game with Nancy Newman and Jack Curry, and Meredith will rejoin them. 6-4 Yankees win. They complete the sweep.